All right, July 1st, 2025. Happy Canada Day if you are in the Canadas where I am. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show, Heart-Centered Marketing. My name is Joey Ragona, and tonight we're going to talk about the UnFunnel. We've been talking about this for years, and we continue to keep talking about this because sometimes there's a little bit of confusion about what it actually means, and I got to give props out to my good friend Kimmy Brown, who inspired this. So thanks, Kimmy, because we had a discussion, a little bit of a chat today. And first thing I want to get off I guess, the elephant in the room, or I guess the first concept or the myth that we talk about or that is out there about UnFunnel is that it is no funnel, right? So UnFunnel does not mean, let me start off with what UnFunnel does not mean. It doesn't mean no funnel. So when I talk about UnFunnel, it is removing, it's taking away all of the layers of complexity when it comes to your funnel. People call it about simplifying. Thankfully, I am the catalyst behind this whole simplification of funnels and seeing a lot of people now getting on board with that. I am super proud of that. And, so I want to give you some insight on what it is to actually unfunnel your business. Or maybe if you want to even drop a comment and ask me about it, because let me just going to go down here to my Facebook group to make sure that I'm seeing those comments coming in as well. Let me know, what does a funnel look like to you? Like, what is the process? And maybe we can break down a little bit as best as we can, because I can't speak to you live, what your business looks like. So, and by the way, hit me with a hashtag live, hashtag replay if you're watching here on the Facebooks, YouTubes. Where else are we? LinkedIn, like all over the place. So welcome. So UnFunnel, right? It was this moment in time where I strayed away from a lot of, from my simplicity core, like what I do. My entire life was about simplicity. And then in 2016, I went down this rabbit hole of, hey, maybe I should build all these funnels. Maybe I should build all these integrated systems. And that kind of really lit me up for a little bit for 3 years, and found that that wasn't really working well because there was way too many complication things that I even built, even though it was kind of a simple complication, if you want to call it that, everything leading into itself. But I found that I was fixing a lot of stuff all the time. It was always about, how do I make this better? How do I tweak this? How do I, fix this thing that isn't working? And I wasn't really focused on helping people. And one day in 2019, I said, what if I just take away everything? What if I start from scratch again? What if I undo it all and rebuild only the two or three things that I need? And that was where UnFunnel was actually born. So to make this really, this point, I want to drive this home, is that when I talk about UnFunnel, it's not about we're removing funnels, because even a handshake, if I met you at a dinner or something like that, and we talked business, and all of a sudden magically it was like, hey, you know what, I want to work with you. How do I do that? And we have a handshake. That's a funnel, right? It's everything that we do in interaction is a kind of funnel. But what I'm doing is, or really emphasizing, is the fact that you don't need all of the overblown complexity, all of the standard stuff. It's about looking at your business and simplifying everything down to the core elements that you can do consistently, and that drives the needle in your business, that amplifies the connection with your dream clients. That's it. So when I'm auditing someone and I ask them, show me what you're doing, they will bring, more than likely, a whole bunch of different things. Not only is their process or their customer journey all over the place, they're trying to speak to too many customers, too many clients, too many avatars. And so unfunneling is that part of it as well, which is who do you really speak to? Get really, really clear on that one person, and there's a whole bunch of other people like that, but who's that one person? And then simplifying the way that you can connect with those people so that they buy your stuff or hire you. In my case, it's a simple thing, like it's consistently putting out content. For instance, this one, This here is, if you want to call it, a part of a funnel. There's no call to action at the end. There's no opt-in or anything like that, but it's consistent. I've been doing this since 18, something like that. 2018, every Tuesday. I missed one Tuesday, I think it was, and maybe a Tuesday when Christmas landed on it or something like that. So I can count on less than one hand how many times I've missed this. Does it bring in tons and tons of leads? No, but that's not the point. It's about consistency. It's about me sharing my values, sharing my methods, my thoughts, all of those things, bringing on really, really cool people that I get to hang out with and sharing them with you. And so that this is part of it. So you know what I mean? Is what can you consistently do that's not going to interrupt anything? Because I could really be even on in the back of a cab or something with a live right now and doing this, and I don't think anybody would really care. It's like, oh, he's live and he's going somewhere cool, right? So it's consistency. The UnFunnel is about what is the one or two things that you can do consistently that will help your dream clients connect with you, and you strip it down to the simplicity of that process so that you're not inside the funnel process, or you're not inside the sales process. Because if you follow my stuff, you will know that dream clients come to you. You don't chase them. So I'm not a huge fan of outbound stuff and doing all the reach outs and all these other things. Hey, they work for some people, but for me, UnFunnel is no. What if I just took that part of it away? And what if I just wrote epic conversations or content that actually drives the needle for somebody? Like, what would that do? And would they reach out to me? And that's what happens. So normally somebody would say, hey, I read your post or a couple of your posts and I liked the idea of UnFunnel or something. I want to know more about that. Like, what happens? And we get into a conversation. And let's just, for the sake of argument, say that that person becomes a client, and they become a client only because of the chat. I didn't send them to an opt-in. I didn't send them to an email sequence or a webinar and all this other kind of stuff to try to convert them, because we're already in a conversation. And to me, that's where I want to get everybody. So even if I did have like a regular funnel, opt in over here, go watch the webinar. Then if you like the webinar, let's get on a call, schedule a call. It always ends up to, I'm going to have a conversation with somebody, right? This is just me. I'm not saying this is how UnFunnel works. This is just, I'm giving you a scenario of when I looked at it and say, well, what can I take out? What are the steps I can take out? Well, I can take out the opt-in. I can take out the webinar. I can take out the email sequences, because if it's all going to end up to, let's schedule a call, why don't I just get into conversations when people reach out to me? You see what I mean? So I've eliminated all of those other things. By the way, if you're here, let me know with a hashtag live or hashtag replay. If you do have a question about your funnel or what it looks like and what an UnFunnel might look like for you, let's play with it. Let me know in the chat. And perhaps I can help coach you through it. I'd love to know. Let me just double check down here in the old Facebook group to make sure I'm not missing any comments. Cool. All right. So that's what the main thing that I wanted to get across today was that when you hear UnFunnel from me, it does not mean we're eliminating funnels. We're unfunneling, right? We're taking this huge complex thing and we're stripping it down to like one or two things. What would it look like if we just did this and this? What would that look like for you? And that becomes, in all the people that I've worked with, in all of the audits that I've done, is people like, wow, it can be that simple. It feels more aligned. And I see and hear a lot of the, right? The breath and the monkeys are off everyone's back. It's just like, if I just did this and people came to me, this would be amazing. And that's what UnFunnel means. It's different for everybody, but it's not no funnel, because everything we do is a funnel of some kind, right? It's some kind. But what I'm trying to get to is you do not need all of the complexity, all of the stuff that we've been taught for all of these years to bring clients in. So that's what I wanted to really talk about today. Thank you for the conversation today. Thank you for listening to this, because it's really important that we understand that the business needs to be built around you and your life. And the more complexity you add, the more stuff just adds more stress in my mind, and even in my experience. It's not just my mind, it's not theory. It's just that there's just more stress happening. There's too much complexity already, and people are your dream clients are inundated with information, inundated with others pushing them through these regular funnels. Why would you want to be in that same position? Why don't you just make it really simple for somebody to connect with you so that you could share your genius with them, so that they can make a decision if you are the right person for them? And that is what an unfunnel means. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Canada Day. I'm going to go take a little bit more of a breather today. Thank you for being here. See you next week.